My name is Margaret. I'm 66 years old. And the morning my daughter trusted him the most was the day he tried to erase me. I'm standing in a hotel bathroom, my hands are shaking. There's a glass of champagne on the counter that I didn't pour myself. The door is locked from the outside, and in 4 hours, my only daughter is going to marry the man who put me here. I can hear them laughing in the hallway. His voice, her voice, they think I'm resting and tired. They think I took my medication. But I didn't. And that's the only reason I'm still conscious enough to realize what's happening. You want to know what a mother does when she realizes her daughter is about to marry a monster? When she's trapped. When nobody believes her. When she's been painted as the confused, bitter old woman who can't let go. She gets very, very quiet. She remembers everything. And she waits for the exact right moment to burn his entire world down. I didn't know it then, standing in that locked bathroom, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would break through my ribs. But that moment, that choice to stay silent, to let him think he'd won, that was the moment I became dangerous. Before I tell you what happened next, like this video if you believe mothers protect at all costs. Subscribe for real stories that expose the truth. And tell me where you're watching from. I read every comment. Now let me take you back, because you need to understand how a man like him operates. How he makes you doubt your own instincts. How he makes everyone else think you're the problem. 6 months earlier. That's when it started. The day Emily introduced him to me, I felt it in my stomach. That old primal warning system that every mother has. The one that kept our ancestors alive when they heard something moving in the dark. His name was Derek. 34 years old. Investment banker. Expensive suit. Perfect teeth. Firm handshake. Too firm. He held my hand just a second too long, his eyes locked on mine, and I felt him measuring me. Assessing. Calculating what kind of obstacle I would be. Emily was glowing. 29 years old, brilliant, beautiful, and so deeply, desperately in love that she couldn't see what I saw. She couldn't see the way his smile never reached his eyes when he looked at her. She couldn't see the way he touched her lower back. Not affectionate, but possessive. Claiming. She couldn't see the micro-expressions that flickered across his face when she talked about her career, her friends, her independence. But I saw them. I've been alive for 66 years. I've buried a husband. I've raised a daughter alone. I've survived cancer, bankruptcy, betrayal, and grief that would have broken weaker people. You don't get through all that without learning to read the predators. But here's what they don't tell you about being a mother who sees danger coming for her child. Nobody wants to hear it. He's wonderful, Mom. You're going to love him. I tried. God, I tried to love him for her sake. I invited them to dinner. I asked questions. I smiled. I watched. And the more I watched, the more I saw. The way he answered questions for her. The way he corrected her stories. The way he'd place his hand over hers when she reached for her phone. Small things. Dismissible things. Things that made me sound paranoid when I tried to point them out. Mom, you're being overprotective. Mom, you just don't know him like I do. Mom, I think you're having trouble letting go. That last one was his idea. I'm sure of it. 2 months after I met him, Emily started talking about how I seemed confused sometimes. How I repeated myself. How I forgot conversations we'd had. I didn't forget anything. But Derek did something very clever. He started creating false memories. Mentioning conversations that never happened. Referencing plans I'd supposedly made and then canceled. Small inconsistencies that made me question myself. And when I'd deny them, he'd look at Emily with this concerned, pitying expression. Maybe we should talk to her doctor. I started keeping a journal. Writing down every conversation, every interaction, every detail. Because I knew what was happening, even if I couldn't prove it yet. He was isolating her. Not with chains or violence. With something much more insidious. Love. The engagement happened fast. 3 months after they met, he proposed. A surprise weekend in Paris. A ring that cost more than I made in a year. Emily called me from the airport, crying happy tears. Mom, I'm engaged. Can you believe it? I'm getting married. I should have been happy. I should have screamed with joy. I should have asked to see pictures of the ring. Instead, I heard myself say, "That's very fast, sweetheart." The pause on the other end of the line lasted 3 seconds too long. I thought you'd be excited for me. I am. You just what, Mom? You just can't be happy for me? You just have to find something wrong with every good thing in my life. Those weren't her words. I knew whose words they were. Emily, that's not. I have to go. We're boarding. She hung up. And for the first time in 29 years, my daughter didn't call me back. I didn't realize it then, but that phone call sealed my fate. The wedding planning was a masterclass in exclusion. Derek's mother, a cold, brittle woman named Patricia, took over everything. The venue, the flowers, the dress, the guest list. I was consulted on nothing. When I asked Emily if she wanted help, if we could go dress shopping together like we'd always talked about when she was little, she sighed. Mom, Patricia already has it handled. Besides, Derek thinks it's better if we keep things simple. Less stress for you. Less stress for me. As if I was the fragile one. As if I was the problem. I tried to push back. Gently at first, then more firmly. Emily, this is your wedding. Don't you want a say in? I do have a say, Mom. This is what I want. But her voice wavered when she said it. Just slightly. Just enough. I knew my daughter. I knew when she was lying. Even to herself. The bridal shower was the first public humiliation. Patricia hosted it at her country club. 200 guests. Women I'd never met. Emily's college friends, her work colleagues, Derek's family. I wasn't asked to speak. I wasn't introduced. I was seated at a table in the back, next to women who didn't know who I was. When I tried to move closer, to sit with Emily, Patricia intercepted me. Margaret, we have assigned seating. For the photographs. Her smile was ice. I returned to my table. I sat quietly. I watched my daughter open gifts, laugh at stories, pose for pictures. And I noticed something. Every time Emily looked in my direction, Derek was there. Touching her shoulder. Whispering in her ear. Redirecting her attention. He was erasing me. Slowly. Methodically. Deliberately. Making me disappear before I was even gone. I started asking questions. Quietly. Carefully. I hired a private investigator. A woman named Sandra who'd helped a friend of mine during a difficult divorce. What do you want to know? Sandra asked. Everything. His finances. His past relationships. His family. Everything. It took 3 weeks. When Sandra called me back, her voice was different. Tight. Professional. Concerned. Margaret, we need to meet in person. We met at a coffee shop 40 minutes outside the city. Sandra brought a folder. A thick one. Derek Morrison has been engaged twice before. Both times, the engagements ended badly. The first woman filed a restraining order. The second one moved to another state and changed her name. My blood went cold. What did he do? The restraining order was sealed. But I spoke to some people. Off the record. Sandra paused. Financial abuse. Isolation. Gaslighting. He drained the first woman's savings account, convinced her she was mentally unstable, got her fired from her job. And the second woman? Won't talk about it. But she left everything behind. Her career, her family, her friends. Just vanished. I felt sick. There's more, Sandra said. His mother, Patricia, has been involved both times. She helps him. Enables him. There's a pattern. They target successful, independent women. Then they systematically break them down. I stared at the folder. I need to show this to Emily. Sandra's expression was grim. Margaret, I've done this work for 20 years. Women like your daughter, women in love with men like Derek, they don't believe evidence. They believe the story he's already told them about you. What story? That you're jealous, controlling, unable to let go, possibly suffering from early dementia or mental illness. The room tilted. He's been telling Emily I have dementia? He's been planting the seeds. So when you come to her with this, she'll think it's proof you're deteriorating. That you're so desperate to keep her from being happy that you've hired someone to fabricate lies. I wanted to scream. I wanted to drive to Emily's apartment and shake her until she understood. But I didn't. Because Sandra was right. If I confronted Emily now, I would lose her forever. So I did the hardest thing I've ever done. I smiled. I apologized for being overprotective. I told Emily I was happy for her. I played the role of the doting, slightly confused mother who was slowly coming around. And I waited. 3 weeks before the wedding, Derek invited me to lunch. Just the two of us. I knew it was a test. A performance. He wanted to see if I'd fallen in line. We met at an expensive restaurant downtown. He ordered for both of us without asking what I wanted. Margaret, I want to clear the air, he said, leaning forward with that practiced sincerity. I know we got off on the wrong foot. I know you're protective of Emily. I respect that. I said nothing. But I need you to understand something. His voice dropped. Became harder. Emily is my family now. My priority. My responsibility. And I won't let anyone, not even you, damage what we're building. There it was, the threat wrapped in concern. I love my daughter, I said quietly. I know you do. But sometimes love can become unhealthy, possessive. Emily's mentioned that you've been struggling lately. Memory issues. Confusion. I met his eyes. I'm not confused, Derek. His smile didn't waver. Of course not. But Emily's worried about you. We both are. In fact, we've been discussing options. Assisted living facilities. Just to make sure you're safe. Cared for. My hands clenched under the table. He was going to put me away. Lock me up in some facility where I couldn't interfere. Where Emily could visit me twice a month and feel guilty but relieved. That's very thoughtful, I said. But I'm fine. For now. But these things progress, Margaret. It's better to be proactive. He reached across the table and patted my hand. Don't worry. We'll take care of everything. I let him think he'd won. I let him think I was beaten. I let him pay for lunch and help me into my coat and walk me to my car like the dutiful son-in-law. And the entire time I was planning, 2 weeks before the wedding, I received the invitation to the rehearsal dinner. Black tie. Friday night. The hotel ballroom. I RSVP'd immediately. Patricia called the next day. Margaret, I think it might be best if you skip the rehearsal dinner. It's going to be a long night, and we don't want you to tire yourself out before the wedding. I'll be fine, I said. Still, Derek and I think. I'm coming, Patricia. Silence. Then, ice cold. Suit yourself. I went shopping that week. Bought a dress. Black. Elegant. Expensive. The kind of dress that commands attention. I also made 3 phone calls. 1 to Sandra, the private investigator. 1 to my lawyer. And 1 to someone from Derek's past. The second fiancé. The one who'd disappeared. It took Sandra 2 days to find her. Her name was Rachel. She was living in Oregon, working as a nurse. When I called, she almost hung up. I don't talk about that time in my life. Please, I said. My daughter is about to marry him. Long pause. She won't listen to you. I know. But maybe she'll listen to you. Another pause. What do you need? The night of the rehearsal dinner arrived. I drove myself to the hotel. Walked in alone. My hands were steady. My heart was calm. I'd been preparing for this moment for months. The ballroom was beautiful. White flowers. Crystal chandeliers. A string quartet. 200 guests. Derek and Emily stood at the front, greeting people. She looked stunning in a cream dress. He looked triumphant. I took my seat. Table 12. In the back. Far from the family. Patricia glided over, her smile sharp. Margaret. So glad you could make it. Are you feeling well? Never better. Her eyes narrowed. The dinner progressed. Speeches. Toasts. Laughter. Derek's best man told a story about their college days. Patricia gave a beautiful speech about love and family. Emily cried happy tears. Nobody asked me to speak. I wasn't even acknowledged. And then dessert was served. That's when I stood up. The room didn't notice at first. I wasn't important enough to command attention. But then I walked to the front of the room. Slowly. Deliberately. Derek saw me first. His expression flickered. Confusion, then irritation, then something darker. Emily looked up. Mom, what are you? I reached the microphone. I'd like to say a few words, I said. Patricia stood. Margaret, this isn't. Sit down, Patricia. Something in my voice made her hesitate. The room went quiet. I looked at my daughter. At her beautiful, trusting face. Emily, I love you more than anything in this world. And that's why I need you to hear this. Derek moved toward me. Margaret, this isn't appropriate. 6 years ago, I said, my voice clear and calm. Derek Morrison was engaged to a woman named Rachel Patel. The engagement ended when she filed a restraining order against him for financial abuse, gaslighting, and threats. Gasps rippled through the room. 4 years ago, he was engaged to another woman named Jennifer Cole. That engagement ended when she fled to another state and changed her name. Derek's face went white, then red. This is insane. Both women, I continued, described the same pattern. Isolation. Control. Systematically destroying their relationships with family and friends. Draining their bank accounts. Convincing them they were mentally unstable. I pulled out my phone. Rachel is here tonight. Not in person, she was too afraid. But she recorded a message. For you, Emily. I pressed play. Rachel's voice filled the room. Emily, my name is Rachel. I don't know you, but I know him. And I know what he's doing to you because he did it to me. He made me think my mother was jealous, that my friends didn't understand, that I was confused, forgetful, mentally ill. He isolated me, controlled my money, monitored my phone, and when I finally tried to leave, he threatened to have me committed, to take everything from me. His mother helped him. She was part of it the whole time. Please listen to your mother. She's trying to save you. I wish someone had saved me. The silence in that room was deafening. Emily's face was white. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Derek lunged for the phone. This is fabricated. She's lying. This is. I have the court records, I said. The restraining order. Jennifer's new identity paperwork. Financial statements showing how you drained Rachel's accounts. Text messages. Emails. Everything. I turned to Emily. Baby, I know you love him. I know you think I'm trying to ruin your happiness. But I'm begging you. Look at what he's done. Look at how he's treated me. How he's isolated you. How he's convinced you I'm mentally ill when I'm not. This is what he does. Derek's mask cracked completely. You bitter old bitch, he snarled. You can't stand that she chose me over you. I didn't choose anyone over you, Mom, Emily whispered. She was looking at Derek now. Really looking at him. And I saw the moment she recognized the monster. You said my mom had dementia, she said slowly. You said she needed to be in a facility. She was interfering. You said I was confused. That I forgot things. But I didn't forget them, did I? You were making me think I did. Emily, you took money from my account. Last month. $5,000. You said it was for the wedding venue deposit, but the venue was already paid for. I saw the statement. Derek's face twisted. You went through my accounts? They're my accounts. Emily's voice broke. My money. My life. And you were. She looked at Patricia. You knew. You helped him. Patricia's expression was cold. You're making a mistake, Emily. Your mother is mentally ill. This is all. Get out. Emily's scream echoed through the ballroom. Both of you. Get out. The wedding is off. Get out. Derek grabbed her arm. You don't mean that. I stepped between them. Let go of my daughter. For a moment, I thought he might hit me. I saw the violence in his eyes. The rage. The need to hurt something. But we were surrounded by 200 witnesses. He released her arm. Stepped back. Straightened his jacket. You'll regret this, he said to Emily. When you realize what you've thrown away. The only thing I'm throwing away, Emily said, her voice shaking but strong, is you. Derek and Patricia left. The room erupted in whispers. And Emily collapsed into my arms, sobbing. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I should have listened. I should have. Sure. It's okay. You're safe now. I held my daughter while she cried, while the guests slowly filtered out, while the staff quietly cleared the tables. I held her, and I knew I'd done the right thing. Even if she'd hated me forever, it would have been worth it. But she didn't hate me. She held me tighter. The next morning, we went to the police. Emily filed a report. Showed them her bank statements, the text messages, the emails. Rachel agreed to provide a statement. So did Jennifer. The investigation is ongoing. Derek's firm fired him. Patricia's friends stopped returning her calls. The wedding venue was canceled, the deposits forfeited. Emily moved back home with me for a few months. We talked. Really talked. About everything I'd seen, everything she'd felt but ignored, everything he'd done to make her doubt herself. She's seeing a therapist now. Working through the manipulation, the gaslighting, the trauma. She's getting stronger every day. And me? I'm 66 years old. I've been dismissed, underestimated, and erased by people who thought my age made me weak. But here's what they don't understand. Age doesn't make you weak. It makes you patient. It makes you observant. It teaches you that some battles can't be won with volume or violence. They're won with strategy, with evidence, with perfect timing. That locked bathroom on what should have been Emily's wedding day? I picked the lock in 45 seconds. I'd been practicing. The champagne Derek brought me? I poured it down the sink and filled the glass with ginger ale. The medication he thought I'd taken? I'd stopped taking it weeks earlier, switching to vitamins in the same bottle. I knew he was planning something. I knew he'd try one last time to remove me from the equation. So I let him think he'd succeeded. And then I walked out of that bathroom, down the hallway, and into the ballroom where he stood waiting for a bride who would never come. Because Emily was with me. I'd picked her up that morning, shown her everything, every document, every recording, every piece of evidence I'd been gathering for months. And I'd asked her one question. Do you trust me? She looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in months. And she said, yes. We called the wedding off together. She made the calls, canceled the venue, returned the dress, told her friends and family. And when Derek showed up at the hotel, expecting to find a confused old woman locked in a bathroom and a compliant bride getting ready, he found nothing. Just an empty suite and a note. You underestimated the wrong mother. People ask me if I'm angry. If I hate Derek, if I want revenge, if I wish things had been different. And the truth is, I'm not angry anymore. I'm tired. I'm relieved. I'm grateful. Grateful that I trusted my instincts. That I didn't give up. That I loved my daughter enough to risk losing her in order to save her. Grateful that I'm old enough to know that patience isn't weakness. It's power. The most dangerous people aren't the ones who make noise. They're the ones who stay quiet, who watch, who wait, who strike exactly when it matters most. Derek thought he could erase me, make me disappear, lock me away where I couldn't interfere with his plans. But he forgot something. I'm not just a mother. I'm a 66-year-old woman who has survived everything life could throw at me. Cancer, poverty, grief, betrayal. I've buried people I loved. I've rebuilt myself from nothing. I've learned that the world will try to make you small, try to make you silent, try to make you invisible. Especially when you're older. Especially when you're a woman. Especially when you're both. But invisible doesn't mean powerless. Sometimes it means deadly. Emily asked me last week how I knew. How I knew from the very first moment that Derek was dangerous. And I told her the truth. I've lived 66 years, baby. I've met 1,000 men like him. Men who smile with their mouths but not their eyes. Men who touch you like they own you. Men who make you feel crazy for trusting your own instincts. But how did you stay so calm? She asked. How did you not just scream at me to leave him? I smiled. Because I knew you wouldn't listen. Because that's what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to be the hysterical, overprotective mother, so he could paint me as the villain. So I became what he needed me to be. Quiet, compliant, forgettable. But you were planning the whole time. Every single day. She hugged me then. Held me tight. Thank you for not giving up on me. Never, I said. Not ever. Here's what I want you to understand. If you're watching this and you recognize yourself in Emily's story, please listen. If someone is isolating you from the people who love you, that's not love. If someone is convincing you that your memory is faulty, that your instincts are wrong, that your family is the problem, that's not love. If someone is controlling your money, your phone, your time, your choices, that's not love. That's control. And control disguised as love is the most dangerous thing in the world. I don't care how charming he is. I don't care how successful, how handsome, how perfect he seems. If your mother, or your father, or your best friend, or your sister is telling you something is wrong, please listen. Not because they're always right, but because people who love you can see things you can't when you're in the middle of it. They can see the patterns, the red flags, the subtle shifts that you've normalized because they happen slowly, one tiny degree at a time. And if you're a mother watching this, if you have a daughter or a son who's in a relationship that makes your stomach hurt, don't give up. Document everything. Stay calm. Build your case. And when the moment comes, be ready. Because sometimes love means letting go. And sometimes it means holding on so tightly that nothing can tear you apart. It's been 4 months since the wedding that never happened. Emily has a new apartment, a new job, new friends who actually care about her. She's started dating again. Slowly. Carefully. And when she introduces me to someone new, I watch. Not with suspicion. Not with fear. But with the wisdom of someone who knows what real love looks like. Real love doesn't isolate. It connects. Real love doesn't diminish. It celebrates. Real love doesn't make you smaller. It makes you more yourself. And if I ever see those familiar warning signs again, the possessive touch, the dismissive tone, the subtle erasure, I'll be ready. Because I'm 66 years old. And I've learned that the most powerful weapon in the world isn't strength or money or status. It's a mother's love. Quiet, patient, unbreakable, and absolutely, completely, ruthlessly protective. Derek Morrison thought he could make me disappear. He thought my age made me weak, irrelevant, easy to dismiss. He was wrong. And now he knows that the most dangerous person in any room isn't the one making threats. It's the grandmother in the corner who everyone underestimates. The one who's survived too much to be intimidated. The one who's loved too deeply to be deterred. The one who will smile quietly while she dismantles your entire world, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but the truth. Some people think age makes you weak. They forget it also makes you dangerous. And I am the most dangerous kind of woman there is. A mother who has already lost everything that mattered and built it back. A mother who knows that fear of losing her child is nothing compared to the reality of watching her be destroyed. A mother who will burn down the entire world if that's what it takes to keep her daughter safe. My name is Margaret. I'm 66 years old. And I won. Not because I was louder. Not because I was stronger. But because I was patient enough to let him think he'd already defeated me. And then I waited for the exact right moment to show him the truth. You never really beat someone by fighting them. You beat them by surviving them. By outlasting them. By refusing to become what they need you to be. Derek needed me to be the crazy, bitter old woman. So I became the quiet, careful, strategic one. And that's what saved my daughter. If you're still watching, thank you. Thank you for listening to an old woman's story. Thank you for believing that mothers know things. Thank you for understanding that sometimes the most important battles are the ones fought in silence. And if this story helped you, if it made you think about someone you love, or someone you're worried about, or someone you need to protect, please share it. Because somewhere out there is another mother who's being dismissed. Another daughter who's being isolated. Another family being torn apart by someone who knows exactly how to make people doubt themselves. And maybe, just maybe, this story will give them the courage to trust their instincts, to document what they're seeing, to build their case, and to strike when the moment is right. I'm 66 years old. I'm not supposed to matter anymore. I'm supposed to be invisible, irrelevant, easy to erase. But I'm still here, still standing, still protecting the person I love most in the world. And I will never, ever stop. Because that's what mothers do. We survive. We adapt. We protect. And when necessary, we destroy anyone who threatens our children. Quietly. Patiently. Completely. My name is Margaret. Remember it.